Good afternoon, everyone. What we're going to talk about today is putting some electrical outlets in an older home. A lot of these older homes that were built like the 1950s and before even, some of them didn't have any electrical outlets in them at all. And the ones that did maybe had one outlet per room. The code now calls for an electrical outlet to be every 6 foot of distance on a wall. So every 6 linear feet, you have to have an electrical outlet. On that wall there, we've got 3. That's about 12 foot across there. We got 3. Actually, we came into this room here from another room in there. That's got an open ceiling, and we've got the electric running that. And we've got it coming in conduit through there and down the wall. And then we're going into that electrical outlet there, and we're jumping off of it to another electrical outlet, and then off of that one to another electrical outlet. Now in this particular room, we've got 3 on that wall there. We've got a little closet there, as you can see. And then we've got this wall here. We've got electrical outlet there, and then we've got one on that wall there. That's about 5 foot across there at that distance. This distance here is about 1.5 foot. The code says that anytime you have a distance on a wall of about 3 foot, something like that, that you need electrical outlet. But on a long wall like that one over there, you need one every 6 foot of along the wall. So here we've got 2 there, and then we've got another one here. On this particular part right here, we come in from the other room in there. We come in right there, and we come down with conduit and go along these walls. So we actually come into this room in 3 different places. We come in over there once, and then we come in here, and then for this other wall over here, we came in right here. So we actually coming in 3 different places into this room, and we're putting the conduit along the walls. There's electric heater over here, electric baseboard heater. You're not supposed to put any outlets above electric baseboard heater, because somebody will plug something in, it'll fall down on the heater. The wire will melt in 2, and then you'll have a fire, or somebody could get shocked and possibly killed. So no outlets go above an electrical baseboard heater. So we only got 1 on that wall over there. And we got 3 along that wall, and then got 1 coming in there. What we're doing is we're painting the conduit, and we put in some upstairs, and I'll run upstairs here in a couple minutes and check this out. What we're doing is we're hooking up these one at a time to check them out. And Catherine, why don't you come on over here? You got that little outlet I showed you? Mm-hmm. All right. Come on over and plug a thing in there and check that out. I've got Catherine here helping me. She's my granddaughter. She did all the wiring in this particular room. So you can see we got a little tester there, and it's testing exactly the way it's supposed to be. If you got it grounded and you've got your wires hooked up to the right side of the socket, then the little tester there will tell you, will show that it's exactly correct. Now show them the socket here, Catherine. Okay, turn it around to the front. All right, as you can see, you've got a big side and then you got a short side. Now, on the big wire goes on. You have when you're coming from the circuit breaker box, you'll have a white wire and you'll have a black wire. So the black wire is hooked up to one side of that, and the white wire is hooked up to one side of that. Now, Catherine, can you tell them how you remember where the white wire is hooked up and show them the screws that it's hooked up to?
Sure. Okay, the white wire, you remember it because it's whopping white whale. Okay, so it goes to the big one. And it goes on this side on the silver. Okay, and the black one goes to the small one, and you remember it because it's bitty black bug. It's small. Okay, and it goes right here on the gold side, and then your ground goes here on this little blue one.
Okay, and if you turn it to the side again, and if you take a look, both of those screws there are common to each other. So it's very easy for you to jumper off of one plug to another plug. And what's happened here is we come from that one to that one, and then we go to that one down there. So the way these things are built, put the plug down again, the way they're built, turn it to the side. The way that they're built there, as you can see, they're common. There's they're connected. You see those two connectors are connected by that little copper wire there, you can see. So what happens, you can easily jumper from one outlet to another outlet. So that's really helpful to be able to do that. Some of the older sockets, when they only had one screw there, so you had to put two wires on one screw to be able to jumper from one socket to another socket, like from that socket to that socket. So anyway, like I say, like Catherine said, is the small one is the black wire, and you remember that by little or bitty black bug, and the white one is whopping white whale, which is the big wire. Okay, so WWW and BBB, and of course the ground goes on the ground. It's that bottom green screw there. A lot of the wiring that you see nowadays, the ground wire will actually be a green wire. Now, let's run in here, and I'll show you where we've got this hooked up here. And I'll also run upstairs. Okay, well, thank you, Catherine. What we're doing, as you can see, the ceiling in this room is... we haven't put the ceiling in this room yet, and the breaker box is over in that area there where that light is, and the wiring comes in there, and we come right straight across, and this is where we go in for the one side over here. As you can see, I've got it temporarily connected there so we can check that one side to make sure it's right. And then over here, I've got some wiring here where we can check the middle part to make sure it's right. And then we got wiring over here to where we can check the other side over here of the wall to make sure that it's connected right. And then once we check everything to make sure that everything is connected correctly, then I'll go ahead and do the permanent hookup, put some junction boxes up there and hook these things up. I want to run upstairs and show you some that we've hooked up there. The breaker box, once again, comes in. There's all the wiring. Comes down from the breaker box. And go upstairs and show you some that I put in These some I put in, there's one I put in the kitchen, and we put some more in over here along this kitchen wall. There's a outlet there we put in, and then there's another one over there. And this other room in here, we put outlets along the walls in this room, and we've all checked these out, and they're all connected correctly. You need to make sure on your outlets, and there's another one, you need to make sure on your outlets that the black wire is connected correctly to the small side of the plug-in, and the white wire is connected to the wide side of the plug-in. And you need to also make sure that the ground wire is connected, because if somebody comes through with a tester, like a home inspector or somebody approving a house for someone on government assistance, if they come through with a tester and plug into these things, if they're not hooked up correctly, it will not show. It will show that it's not hooked up correctly. So you need to make sure that the white wire is hooked up to the wide terminal there on the plug-in, and the black wire is hooked up to the small one. You also need to make sure that the ground wire is hooked up. Well, anyway, that's it for this video. I might say that on these older homes, they only had maybe one plug-in per room, and depending on when the house was built, they might not have had any plug-ins. When electricity first came out, the only thing they really had was using electricity was a light bulb inside the house, so you didn't really need any plug-ins. And then later on, you got electric stoves and electric ranges, and you needed more plug-ins, and you needed various other type electrical connections. So they went from a 50 amp service to 100 amp service to 200 amp service. Most modern day homes have a 200 amp service. Electric stove by itself will take a 50 amp circuit. So the old timey connections, that they only had a 50 amp. So it was, electric stove was really pulling basically most of the electricity. So you had to go to upgrade to 100 amp, and then they went from 100 amp to 200 amp. So a lot of homes, especially the larger homes, have a 200 amp service, and maybe even more than that. But anyway, that's so much for this video. It's about hooking up these wall outlets in these older homes. And you really can do them. You got a choice. You can do them like this, or you can tear the walls out and put the electric along the walls, but then you have to tear the walls out and rebuild the walls. So it's really a lot easier to just put the conduit right along the wall there, and makes the electric a whole lot easier to get into, to troubleshoot. And if you want to put another outlet in somewhere for some reason, it makes it a lot easier to do that also. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please subscribe, and we'll be posting more videos as we go along. So have a nice day, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.